at the Gambia Football Federation, where we are coming to you live from, giving you another heavy dose of information regarding the activities and engagements of the Gambia Football Federation. Today is Friday, the 14th of July 2023. You would never forget about yesterday, the 13th of July, Thursday, 2023. All eyes were on the 45th Ordinary General Assembly of the Confederation of African Football that happened in Cote d'Ivoire, Abidjan, Ivory Coast, if you wish to call it, where the Gambia FIFA World Cup. And today in the studios of the Gambia Football Federation, we wish to bring you the reactions of the Scorpions coach, Tom Saintfiet, after his reaction that was being published by our medium, the website, and also on the Facebook page. We will have him live from his base in Europe, and also our interlocutor and regular analyst Keba Toure, Jesper, would also be dwelling around the group opponents. The Gambia, of course, you know, is in the Group F alongside Ivory Coast, Gabon, Kenya, Burundi, and Seychelles. My name is Bakary Bibalde. Once again, thank you very much for your company. Keba Toure is my host. Omar Toure is in charge of operations. Mariama Bojang is directing and, of course, serving as my supervisor on today's program. Thank you very much. Jesper, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Bibi.
The draw being held in Cote d'Ivoire yesterday. All eyes were in Abidjan. You know, especially on the Group F, where we have the Gambia, Ivory Coast, Gabon, Kenya, Burundi, and Seychelles. First of all, let me begin with you. What is your reaction around this Group F teams?
Thank you, Bibi. I'm happy to be back here again. But before going to the particular group you're talking about, that's our interest line. I think this is what we call the World Cup.
Yes.
It is amazing. For the first time, every team or every country has been given equal share of the cake.
Absolutely.
It wasn't like before. We had a Premier before the Premier. So most of the teams couldn't make it to the final lineup. But again, with this increment with Frentino, we've seen that now we all had the share of the cake. It depends on what or who is who.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody need to perform at your best to see yourself at the World Cup.
Yes.
Yeah, coming back to the group, everybody was eager to know our opponent.
There are 9 groups.
Yeah, 9 groups, obviously, with, divided with 54 countries.
Exactly.
Yeah. So our particular group, by 3 o'clock to 4, the grouping were out.
Yes.
It was amazing. We will say it's a fair grouping.
It's a fair one.
It's a fair one.
Yeah.
It was very much amazing when I heard the coach spoke.
Yes.
It's right. Every individual or every nation has right to dream big, and we have to, of course, yes.
Certainly.
Compared to the group here, Gabon has not been a new opponent to us. Even
we played them in the AFCON qualifiers.
Exactly. Even Ivory Coast was one time here. We lost to them 1-0. You can see during that
Ivory Coast, exactly, yes.
During that rainy day.
The days of Yaya Toure.
Exactly. So yes, people will say they still get big names in the European set.
Yes. On paper, they are favorites. On paper,
exactly.
they are favorites.
And we must respect them for that.
Yes.
But in football, what the opponent deserves from you is the respect he deserves.
Exactly.
And I know with the technical backup we get and with the crop of players we are seeing of recent, this is a very tactical team we have, and we must continue with that attitude if we want to play the big stage, which we have done.
I want to cut in there shortly because we will be having the reaction of Tom Saintfiet in just a moment, and later come back to you because it looks like you want to take team by team. But before we do that, let's go back to our technician at the background to give us the reaction of Tom Saintfiet. Just immediately, the draw was being conducted in the Abidjan, Gambia, being in Group F alongside Ivory Coast, Gabon, Kenya, Burundi, and Seychelles. Tom Saintfiet has been talking to GFF Media.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was a very exciting draw. I was by myself already for a few days, even a few weeks, looking forward to it. I had some countries I really wanted to meet, and some countries I preferred not to meet. It was clear that when we were in pot 4, that 3 teams would be stronger into our last AFCON, and that some countries, even like Kenya, didn't play for 2 years competitive football. But because of the change in the FIFA ranking, teams who were before, it was not easy to climb the last years, the 53 positions. The draw yesterday was really interesting, and on the end, I think we can be satisfied with the group we have. I have Seychelles, probably the weakest opponent in the group, and not easy to travel there, different circumstances, artificial grass pitch, but yeah, normally a must-win match for us. Burundi, who was in 2003, who was banned for 2 years, but who has a very strong local league and some players abroad, and who qualified also in 2019 for the Africa Cup. Gabon, a team who we know very well naturally from our previous qualification. We won at home 2-1, and actually the big favorite, Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast in our group, the African champion from a few years ago. But I have to be also fair. I think Cote d'Ivoire is probably preferred also before the draw for Cote d'Ivoire. It's a very good team. It's a big football nation, but I don't think they have currently the strength of Morocco, Senegal, Nigeria, Egypt. All nations I think are better than Cote d'Ivoire. Still, like I said before, we cannot underestimate any of the opponents. It will be very tough. Only the number 1 qualifies, and the 4 best. The winner of the African playoff will meet another continent's winner of a playoff. So it will be a long road and a very tough road. Important for us, if we want to qualify, we have to estimate around 21, 22 points to win. Yeah, to win at home will be very important, and actually we need to plan very well. It was very important that the planning when we play our games, the dates between games, time of recovery, travel time, that we have the shortest period to be in planes. I would like to remind you when we played South Sudan in Dakar, we were 36 hours on the plane to Congo, Brazzaville, and had to play already 3 days later a game. Then it's normal that some players are fatigued and that you get tired in the second half. These type of things we have to avoid this time for the World Cup qualifiers. If we have a perfect planning and we have all luck on our side, if our players develop well and get game time in their clubs, I think we can be competitive till the last match day. And this is maybe once in a lifetime a chance for Gambia to qualify for the FIFA World Cup on senior level. It won't be easy. As I said earlier, Gabon is a very strong team, and even Kenya, Burundi, and Seychelles we can't underestimate. But we have to believe also in our own qualities. I believe in my team. I believe in my federation. What we did all together the last 5 years is incredible, and now we have the cherry on top of the cake. World Cup qualification in a group. What is possible to qualify? It won't be easy. We are not a favorite, but if we do everything according to plan and we work very hard, it's possible. We have a dream and we have to live for the dream. We have to believe in the dream and go for the dream. And I'm really looking forward to it. But first, naturally, look forward to the September match against Congo Brazzaville. We want to qualify a second time in a row for the AFCON. It will be already something unique. Not many debutants could qualify immediately after for the second Africa Cup. Look to Comoros and other countries who didn't qualify for the second qualifying AFCON in a row. So we, yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was a very exciting draw. I was
Thank you very much,
myself already.
Tom. That's Tom Sankwe, Jesper. This man is very positive. I like his dreams. You know, he talked about being satisfied with the draw, and he has respect for the opponents. But he also talked about having that belief in his boys. But most importantly, the task ahead is the game against Congo Brazzaville in September at home. Very likely that we'll play at the Independence Stadium for our last bit of the AFCON qualifiers. But let's turn to you are a technician. If you were in his shoes, you would have also spoken like this.
Perfectly enough, Bibi. Like him or not, he's somebody who is very much tactically
absolutely.
That has been the strength of the team. No matter what the critics has been, he was very much positive.
Yes.
And thank God he's achieving his dreams. What we've been yearning for the past 50 years, he's the one who gave it us. With all the minimal resources.
And he wants to take us to the World Cup.
And don't be surprised, 2026.
Yes.
We had the kickoff in the World Cup.
Yes.
Because as he spoke, look at him, I have very big respect for him. And congrats of what he's been doing with his technical team together with the players. I always say this, we had a very young, promising squad.
Yes.
These are players who are full of ambitions. And we are lucky, these are players we produce in our own backyards. So whatever is there, attacks, they know playing at higher level, that's the only possibility for them to be marketable at the higher level, at the higher stages. We yearning our players to be in the Premiership. We yearning our players to be in the top 5 leagues in Europe. These are the opportunities. This is the opportunity now in place. Obviously, if we play the World Cup, that doors will be very much open. And I think players know at hand what they are. Coming back to the group, as we said, Ivory Coast is the toughest opponent in that group.
On paper, they are favorites.
Everybody will give them the favoritism. That's good that we respect them.
Yes.
But this is football.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, it's 11 v 11. We just yearning to make our backyard hell for any team that comes home. Because 12 games, 10 games to play, obviously that's a big opportunity for any opponent.
Certainly. Kenya were once banned by FIFA, because of those political interference, third party, for 2 years. But they are back to the fore now.
Yes, you can see they had the coach change, so
yes.
they haven't played football for 2 years.
Yes.
But we are not taking that for granted, as you said. It's going to be a surprising, you're going to see very surprising results come the qualifiers in November.
Exactly.
Because, as I said, this is an opportunity now for everybody to taste the World Cup. And the big boys need to know that the young ones or the so-called underdogs are very much ready to upset anybody that comes on their way.
Yes.
And again, African football is now been very much economical, has been transformed a lot because we now get many of our players playing in Europe. It wasn't like before when we rely on 2, 3, 4 professionals. We're now counting on a squad of professionals. And looking at the last qualifiers we played against Sudan, that shows the pattern of even the coach has been changed. Even the biggest critics appreciate the pattern he played because we went out and scored our goals. Even up to the last minute of the game, we get our scorer, our winner, after leading twice or 3 times in the game.
We will come to our setup, the team, the Scorpions. But let's look at, let's complete the groupings. Burundi, East Africa. We are not accustomed to playing East Africa, and maybe in our next edition we'll try to find out Burundi, their strength and also their weakness. I'm sure Coach Thompson Famous have done that. Seychelles in Southern Africa, they have a very good league. You remember Modou Figo Diallo, Brikama United, who was one time with the under 23 or the local national team, the Chan team. He's still playing his league football in Seychelles.
Yeah, yesterday I was going through some of these teams in the social media. I've seen for Seychelles, they've played so many games without wins.
It's another small country.
Yeah, it's another small country, and I think, with all due respect, I think that's a team we far ahead of.
Absolutely,
absolutely. As Tom rightly said.
Because if you look at the groupings, they are
at the last
put
bottom,
according to their rankings.
Exactly. So we get weaker teams in the group. We get stronger teams in the group. We get very good teams in the group. So I think going by our opponents, here I would say the biggest challenges will be Gabon and Ivory Coast.
Yes.
Those are going to be the biggest
Gabon
challenges.
and Ivory Coast. Gabon. But like the coach said, Ivory Coast is not at par with the likes of Senegal, the likes of Cameroon, the likes of Nigeria, the likes of Morocco, and etc., etc. They were there before, but not as of now.
Yes, that's
Ivory
right.
Coast, I mean.
That's right. That's
Yes,
right.
yes.
That's why I said
Yes.
anybody in this group just deserve our respect.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and been going through the qualifiers now, we've also experienced something very much.
And coming from the AFCON Cup of Nations in Cameroon,
exactly,
quarter-finalist.
So African qualifiers or qualifiers in any part of this world today,
yes.
you're just going to deal with your home games very seriously. Get 1 or 3 good 3 points away. That will secure a place for you at the top spot. Remember, we are just in the conclusion. So the taste is there already, and the zeal is there.
The boys are hungry.
Exactly. So people want to make history. Gambians want to be part of that history.
Absolutely,
So again, we come down to the whole setup of everything.
You are talking of Gambia wanting to make history, and that brings me back to what the coach said, that he has the full support of the federation. But there are 9 groups, and the top teams in each group automatically qualifies to the 2026 World Cup. The best 4 runners up go for a playoff at the CAF level, and the winner there will go for the FIFA playoff tournament. Suppose the Gambia is to travel to Seychelles, Burundi, Kenya, Gabon, and even Ivory Coast. It takes a lot of resources, and those resources are patched up by the Gambia Football Federation in partnership with their sponsors and partners, the Gambia government, through the National Sports Council and the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Of course, you will give credit to the leadership of the federation.
Perfectly. I think this has been the struggle. Maybe this is one of the reasons, or these are one of the things we always challenge on the federation media to come out with, because many people out there don't understand how football has been financed in this country, or how football has been run.
We need to put up millions and millions.
Exactly. and the question is, how much is our government putting in?
Yes.
These are things need to be clear.
Yes.
I'm not sitting here to defend the federation or to praising them, but this is what I witnessed, or this is what I've seen since my involvement. Government is doing their quotas to them since Bakari came into office. He has been very much active.
Bakari Baji,
yes, with his team, Marshall and the team. What we're saying, this group now is, which means Gambia will be mostly traveling in the southern part of the continent.
Of course.
We know the flight schedule, how it is.
Of course.
We know how
flying across Africa. It's always a nightmare.
How difficult it is.
Yes.
Here now, we pushing on government to come 100%. If they've been doing 100, let them add on the 200-300, because still gonna be making names for this country, and everybody that's involved. For the federation, I know they are always been ready. They've already been going extra mile to see that Gambia played at the highest level.
Absolutely.
We've seen in those days, when we started qualifiers, we never completed. We'll play home games here when the team is supposed to travel to for the second return legs. Games are always cancelled because of financial problems. But the last Cup of Nations, we've seen qualifiers. We've seen the government has gone to that extent to hire a chartered flight. We played in Angola, came back within 72 hours.
And that has helped us
and
greatly.
That pushes us to that level. And I know there will be a time the same fixture will pump in. So this is what the community, as you said, the federation, the partners involved, all stakeholders need to come on board and know this is not just going to be a twist. There is no miracle in football. You work for it, being financial, moral, technical, and I think the federation is just here to facilitate the game. This is something people need to know.
Exactly.
They facilitate the game. The financing of the game, especially the national team, that's solely responsibility of the government. Because this is Gambian national team.
They are doing very good, but we encourage them to push harder.
Yeah, as I said, I can remember the last time I was...
Because the series is a marathon. The series is a marathon. Like you said, you'll be playing across West Africa. West Africa is only Ivory Coast and Gabon. And the others, Kenya, Burundi, and Seychelles.
Yeah, and the saddest thing is this is going to be a marathon one year tournament. Like from November to November of...
By the way, qualifiers begin in November.
Yes. So it's going to be a very good stretch for the teams. And again, financial muscles need to be pumped.
Certainly.
Anybody who wants to compete this stage on one... And again, remember, this is the World Cup.
Yes.
It's not only Cup of the AFCON.
It's the
World
global
Cup,
showpiece.
It's the global showpiece, so you need to be very much ready.
Absolutely.
And
the Gambia wants to be at the global showpiece.
Yeah.
We have been at the continental level. Now it's time to be at the global showpiece.
This is where the challenge comes.
Yes.
The saddest thing is Gambia Football Federation or the Gambia solely depend on FIFA funding.
Yes.
This is where we do everything to run football at a higher
You know,
level.
I always quote the president, Lamin Kababajo. He said, on paper, we are rich. But there's no physical cost.
Yeah, baby. But I know people are getting to understand, and the ministry understands much. The last time I was at the State House with the under-20, I heard the president rightly said they will do everything possible. Even
and
to
government were monitoring the draw as well.
To sponsor the national under-20.
Under-20.
If they can do that for the national under-20, I know he'll be very much ready
to do it for the
the
senior national team. The senior national team serves as ambassadors. When we go to the World Cup, it's the national anthem that is going to be heard everywhere.
Perfectly.
In Canada and in
this is a challenge for Bakary. Sometime last summer I had him in one of his interviews when somebody asked him that question that is football moving in this country? Come on, that was a challenge for him because Bakary came into office seeing Gambian play his first AFCON.
Yes.
If you should ask him that question,
he's a lucky man.
Come on.
He's a lucky man.
So that shows where we are. And again, with all
he's a lucky
on
man.
deck, this is where the country needs them much, and this is where we need everybody to come on board and give the most needed financial support to the federation, particularly the national senior.
Jesper, let's wrap up this thing. We'll be back here again in another time to talk around the Group F: Ivory Coast, Gabon, Kenya, Burundi, and Seychelles. I want us to look at our team, our crop of players that make up the Scorpions. Are you sure? Are you confident of the crop of players? I know before the end of the qualifiers to take us to the World Cup proper, of course we'll have an emergence of new players that, of course, the coach Tom Sanfe, he's accustomed to visiting them at their grounds, monitoring them elsewhere, anywhere they are in Europe. You think we have a team to compete against national teams of Ivory Coast, Gabon, Kenya, Burundi, and Seychelles?
Why not? Maybe. Let's just reflect back when Tom just took up the team at the early stages of his contract.
Yes.
We played 1 or 2 games at the stadium. People feel boring with the pattern he was using.
Yes.
But again, technically, you would say that was the material in time that was available.
Provided for him.
Gradually getting into, we see the introduction of Hamza, Mars, the Steves, and the others.
Coming on board.
Boarding on board. The pattern change against Angola. For the first time, Gambia wins for so many years, winning an away game.
Absolutely.
On the foreign soil for 3 goals to 1 happens in Angola. We came here, complete the battle, then we were in the AFCON. Starting with the AFCON qualifiers again, you see where the 10 started.
Especially the game against Gabon.
Yes, we're now discovering many of our young lads in Europe coming up now. Challenges have been made. And I could remember I once talked to Tom about one of the players. He told me that he had a scope of players to watch or to select from.
Yes.
It's becoming a challenge now even for him to scout some of these players to get them. We've seen the last the provisional squad he mentioned and where he ended up being. So this has been a very much challenging. Coming back to the Sudan game, compare the first game in chess, look at the last game. The team now is being determined because you get that we get more attacking players in the squad.
And the selection is based on performance.
Perfectly. So the only challenge we had, and somehow at certain points, certain players need to be co-opted and try to be fitted there.
Yes.
But again, we had good news are coming up. The Timber has been on a trial.
Yeah, exactly. I heard about him.
So
I heard about him.
Basically, we had a very much mature team. Like last team, still there were key players missing. Steve is still out. Is yet to come in.
We are expecting him in the next outing.
In the next outing. 3 or 4 attacking players are still out. sorry, Sow has not been seen in the last game, but he was available against Mali.
He's back.
So he's back in the team. So there are a range of attacking players for us. That attacking football, a flavor Gambians would like to see. I think Tom is on the right track.
We have a lot of goodies for the national team. A lot of goodies for the national team.
Obviously.
Thank you very much, Keba Jesper Toure. Today is Friday. It's normally a half day. Very shortly, we'll be preparing to go for our Juma prayers. We thank you very, very much. It has been the special edition of our Football House talk show coming to you live from the Gambia Football Federation. We had the reaction of Scorpions coach Tom Sangfe on in our Group F against Ivory Coast, Gabon, Kenya, Burundi, and Seychelles. I've been your host, Bakari B. Balde. Mariama Bojang has been the program director. Ahmad Toure, as always, master planner, putting up all the gadgets, cameras, and videos, and everything in place. Thank you so very much for following, and we'll be back here on Monday when Mariama Bojang very hopefully will be on the hot seat, and we'll continue to talk about Gambian football, engagements and activities of the Gambia Football Federation. On Sunday, so you can never forget about women's football. Sunday is going to be the crowning of the Women's Football League Division 1 and 2. And on Saturday at the FIFA Goal National Technical Training Center, the Under-15 Girls Football Tournament at the National Technical Training Center in Yundum on Saturday. And Sunday is going to be the crowning of the League Division 1 Women's. Bakari B. Balde saying bye to you. Jesper, thank you so very much.
You're welcome.